100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and get in gear with the Simply Smarter car loan. Call or visit us or go to acbonline.com for more.
ACB Caribbean, simply smarter banking.
Jingle your keys and get in gear with a car loan from ACB. Drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and get in gear with the Simply Smarter car loan. Call or visit us or go to acbonline.com for more.
ACB Caribbean, simply smarter banking.
Jingle your keys and get in gear with a car loan from ACB. Drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and get in gear with the Simply Smarter car loan. Call or visit us or go to acbonline.com for more.
ACB Caribbean, simply smarter banking.
Jingle your keys and get in gear with a car loan from ACB. Drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and get in gear with the Simply Smarter car loan. Call or visit us or go to acbonline.com for more.
ACB Caribbean, simply smarter banking.
Jingle your keys and get in gear with a car loan from ACB. Drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and get in gear with the Simply Smarter car loan. Call or visit us or go to acbonline.com for more.
ACB Caribbean, simply smarter banking.
Jingle your keys and get in gear with a car loan from ACB. Drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and...
Happy Saturday. Welcome to Sports Mandela. As usual, we start with a quote. Ambitions kills laziness. Morning, Taddy. What's up?
Morning, morning. Pretty good and not so good still. I will let one of my neighbors carry me forward at sea. You know.
That's a young fella?
Yeah.
Oh, look at Nuki sent me something this morning.
See the man. You
Oh,
know?
see the man.
Yeah, he Anthony the one who won the shop on the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so got the information yesterday, so they're still looking for him. Hopefully, hey, he might survive, but you never know.
So he went out and
I hear the friend I was told, and
the friend came back?
yeah, the friend was found, you know. So that's what happens. But I know you called me earlier for some special guests of football. You know, I'm hoping to have friends here want them. I say, you tell me planning to be president. I'm hoping to run. And they told you you're looking at Philadelphia. Because they were Gary, you told me Gary, then heard of Naya, then of Angeline. Angeline still in it?
I think all is in it.
So I'm hoping that we can find out what's going on. But I know I heard this disgusting like a boy for Sugi White. This one boss White. And the way this week. The disgusting boy for Sugi. You know what I mean? Big guy house before he bad. So he can't eat anything. He died, he was a good partner, best partner, you know. He was a lot. So it's a father daddy of Grey Hill, you know. You hear that? Father daddy of Grey Hill and so on. Walk up the road, give me a lime. Good partner that, Sugi. But his daddy was much better than him though. He was a good football, his daddy played cricket for Antigua. Open bat and so on. Aggressive batsman. He scored a lot of goals in first class cricket. But his daddy should be harder for him to the Earl. His daddy was the man who started playing football, get it going like what it is. Yeah, he had a pinnacle and all them guys, I remember that. All them guys were there with Sugi. So he's the man who started playing football to a high standard. I can recall that, you know, with Luton and all them guys were there and so. My daddy was a real good basketball, but to tell you what, Boy, he be a worse enemy when he come to foot, when he come to Domino's. Boy, I don't like one at all. Boy, you want to bang me, you want to bang me. You know what I mean? When he come to jail, man. Looks, Earl, I don't say I go play cricket. He come for me for bang me up. When the man bang you up till, you know. He not one, he call white. So, happy to see him. They will see Glenn now. And his Jones man, Glenn a grey beard. Can you imagine? You know, Glenn like a boy, you know, you're grey beard and so. You know, but Earl, I don't want to waste more time, you know, but viewing the audience, appreciate that today. Because last week we had some problem with our Zoom. I think the technician Mark and Marlon got it sorted out a bit, and I was told we got some new equipment for next week, so we'll start everything by next week, fully back on board, right? So
sounds good.
Then you see how this joke went next week. Like my son Gary. Well, here you are with president in our earth. Well, you are for battle to Gary.
We're going to talk about that later.
All right, okay.
Let me introduce my guest on Zoom first. Good morning, Mr. Colonel Boswhite. What's up? piggyback on that one before we get to Glenn. What do you think about the football, state of football in Antigua presently?
Conrad is right in virtually everything he has said. I've been saying it for years. First thing I want to say on the technical director, I'm not hitting the present technical director. I think Zoran Van is come here 98 or 99, 98. And if you count it, you're looking to go nearly 30 years later. And I'm not aware that we have a definition, I'm talking of clubs, right, of what is the role of our technical director. Some of them have been coaches, some of them are hands off, and so far we have not seen in nearly 30 years one develop, somebody assess. If you remember when Simone went to Jamaica and there was an assessment done of Jamaica football wholesale, and he said, listen, if you want to go anywhere, you need to get this in place, this in place, this in place. Nothing like that has ever been done. What we've been doing is just one technical director after next. Tell you something. The last two technical previous head coaches, they live overseas. They come about a week, 2 weeks before tournament. I don't know how you can coach a side like that during a tournament. But back to the technical director, is that there is no development plan or program that is issued out to the different technical staff, coaching staff of the clubs that you can follow. What we do, we just throwing stone in a bush or in a tree, and if he hits something, he hits something. I mean, we just play marble and we say damage 1 for 2. In my opinion, that's what we've been doing in Antigua for years. And well, there's no vision, the people perish. And my honest opinion, just like Conrad said, if you come and say, hey, this is not good enough from where we have been and where we want to go, you look as your hours and criticize your gains. But I can't criticize our gains because the facts speak for themselves. I went to a little tournament we have here a few months ago. We were just some friendlies. And I went there, and when I heard the people were saying that Antigua national team has not won a game in 2 years, I said, you're kidding me. That can't be right. And people are saying, yes, we have not won a game in 2 years. And that if you look at the evidence, it just belies the fact that we are doing poorly. And don't tell me, because it even reflects poorly on us, that virtually all the countries we have played against, some we have dominated, some we have held our own against. We can't beat them. I mean, the last time, 3 times we meet Ghana, it's about 15-0, 5-0 a game. I remember that when I first game I see Antigua and Ghana play, but Everton Gonzalez made his name. They came back from college and shoot 4 goals against Ghana. And over the years, we've been holding our own against Ghana. And now we're getting a regular 5 against Ghana. It is bad, it is poor, and if we continue the way we're going, it will only remain the same or get worse. That's my opinion.
Glenn, let me make a jump in. What's your thoughts on presently with Antigua football?
When you look at it and you try to assess the talent that is there, you're trying to put your name out there to say I'm recruiting X, Y, and Z, and you can't see the foundation or the fundamental. So I think one of the things when Boss is attacking this thing and talking about these things, he's talking to it from not just a level of expertise, but he's also talking about the level from recruiting. What would a product am I going to try to recruit to my kind of institution? And if the foundation and fundamentals are not there, you're going to run into some serious problem. And we need to go back and say, well, we haven't won a game in there's something wrong. I mean, let's just put it this way. Boss, in the job that we are in, if we're head coach and I'm going to the game in 2 years, how long do we stay on board? Not very long. We're gone. So we have to decide if this job or role that we have the people are we giving them the necessary tools to succeed? Are we putting things in place? And that comes back to what Ninja talking about with the assessment. If we don't set up a roadmap or guidance for people to follow and ways measurable, not just speak of something, it has to be measurable and it has to be duplicated and it needs to replicate. You know, if we can't have those things in there, you're going to run into stuff. So I mean, you know, I heard something and I tried to live by this. You know, the condition is for the correction and the combination. As coaches, that's what we're looking for. That's the condition. What causes that condition? How do we correct it? And how do we control it? And again, that comes all the way back into assessment, it comes back into the totality of things. And if we're heading over the wrong path, we need to stop. It seems like for 2 years, are we just getting older players, bringing them up? We have a plan saying, okay, we're going to go start developing the younger players and then take my legs now. But then in 2, 3 years, these younger players are going to be seasonal and we're giving them the opportunity to provide to better for that community. Those are things that we have to consider and think about.
And Gary, I want you to jump in there now and piggyback on what the guy is saying. Your view, and take provide personally. And I say good morning to Zaza is watching.
The caresser.
Yeah, he said good morning to the Air Donkey and Ninja. When I say good morning, I say good morning to Boss White and some and Glenn to Zaza.
Caressa.
The great caresser.
Zaza, both say keep it good morning, and I say good morning to Zaza, or you say good morning to Ninja and Donkey. One of the Glenn and Boss. Anyway, good morning, Zaza. What's up? Welcome. Gary, sorry.
Hey, Zaza. I'm looking at Conrad Boss White. You and me, Zaza, we have decided that we don't have any here. So we can show baldness. Both have on a hat, we want to see what under the hat there. If you try to hide the baldness, will you try? Identify, huh? The boss attack. My thought on that, boss is a striker. He's supposed to attack. But attack, you have to be careful where boss is coming from. Boss is not coming from a point of view that, hey, he wants to break down anything. It's a person who has been there, done that, just like Glenn and Iva and myself, who we have had some success through the youth program, through the national team. So we have to take this personally. When Ivan said that the national team have not won a game in 2 years, I can't see how I expect Glenn to feel happy, how Boss to feel happy, how Epilos to feel happy, how Ivan to feel happy. No, that can't happen. But we have to say, after every World Cup, there's a technical committee who sits down and assess. We need to sit down, somehow come together and say, we have to do a critical assessment of our situation. It may seem like we're pointing fingers, but we're not. I believe we just need that area or that vehicle, so we can sit together and bring our minds together so that we can develop this product. What both is saying, and what Ivy is saying, and what Glenn is saying, and what I am saying today, when you look at the under 17 tournament, a lot of countries are doing the same assessment right now. Who America gave 10 something? Teams get 7 and so on. We beat Grenada. So what do you think Grenada say? You know? So this is crucial to where we have to go forward. And I dare say, we have to develop a mechanism that we can get these people together in a forum when we can plan and strategize a clear path. And as both said, hey, this conversation is going to continue, so that is my opening statement. We need to get the relevant minds together to understand that this is a national effort. We can't leave it up to somebody, give them a job, let's say the technical director, give them a job and say, you know what, make miracles. No, the technical director can't coach all the clubs of them. But if we have a structure, if we have a pathway that we can say, you know what, boss, you go out, Ivy, you go out, and follow this for the next year, all the while making assessment to see where we can tweak it. And both know, Glenn know, this process doesn't happen overnight. But it needs the commitment of all of us to understand we have to stick to the path. And that's my own statement.
You said something while ago that struck me a while ago. You said Antigua haven't won a game for the last 2 years.
That is what I was told. I wasn't following it. And I'm saying, no, that can't be real. But people are saying yes.
But the technical director work along with the ABF appointed him, I want to believe. So the structure should come from them, put in place, and go to and feed out to the clubs. He should be going to the club. I'll get somebody, assign somebody to go to the club and say, guys, this is what we plan to do, whether in Villa, boat, all over, and stuff like that. What's your task on that boats?
The national team, his aim is winning. But a technical director is development. So, I am wondering if that is where we are falling short. Where the technical director should be the one in charge of mapping a road plan for, let's say, a 20, a 15, or even a 10-year program. Because when I pick Boss and Gary and Ivor to play for the national team, I expect them to come with all the skill set to win me a game against St. Kitts or St. Lucia. Now, Boss, FIFA, CONCACAF, they have given us the tools to put on courses to geared towards developing technical directors. There's some criteria that they have put in place. So if I go on this course and I perform well, I now have the badge as a technical director. You and me and Ivor that are looking for a technical director, we go through this list and say, come, work with Antigua. That doesn't mean that he's going to work miracles. We have to assess him. I believe, strongly believe, that is the issue in Antigua, as you said. We need persons to critically assess the direction that our technical director is taking the football. And it's not a knock on him now and saying not a good job. It's as you said, is that the direction that we want to go? And remember, he's a contracted employee. He's not elected. He's a contracted employee. So if today, 1 year into your contract, and we are going down the wrong path, you calling him as an executive and say, you know what, we're changing. So going back to what you're saying, the question is very hard. But the way it is right now, everybody needs a technical director. You're a technical director of 25 clubs. Do you have persons as 25 teams? 25 do you have persons who you have to report to tell them, you know what? And tell them your plan is constantly being assessed and you're happy. Because maybe something like that we need. Performance.
A feedback, so.
It doesn't have to be a Calvinist at a hotel and all of this stuff. But you have these guys coming in, and I'm going to explain why. You have these guys coming in for 2 days every month for a training stuff. It's a weekend, maybe Saturday, Sunday, maybe Friday, Saturday, whatever it is. Because if we're giving them top-notch coaching at the national level, and they get it really good coaching, when they go back to their clubs, as a guy coaching from like Stewart, who's not really certified or qualified for that matter, they're going to go back to their bad habits. And so to ensure or to try to ensure that we keep these guys with the good habits, we bring them in once a month and have them go through the training session over 2 days period. And then they go back to their clubs again. So we keep tabs on them. And obviously it's a national team, so you have kids coming in, kids going out, but you will have the structure in place. That structure will remain in place. The core guys will stay in place. And then everything around that. So I think that's one, so this is one solution I'm trying to give here. And it pertains to how I think we should go about changing changing the narrative of what we've been doing. So I'm not just going to criticize, giving you ideas of how I think they get lost. So again,
You're talking about the national team. The national team.
One second, I just want to make sure. One second, boss. Yeah, Mark, does somebody still online? Yeah. Because still there? Somebody, we have a call. Somebody calling. Morning. Morning. Hi, morning. Who that? KC. Yeah.
You can't hear it.
You.
We can't hear nothing. Can't get a full charge.
Yeah.
There's a breakup. Unfortunately.
Yeah, Casey.
Yeah.
Casey. Call back again, because we're trying to hear Clay, but we couldn't hear you. So if you go in somewhere stationary, because what you're saying is very important, so we want to hear exactly what you're saying, so we can provide feedback. Get Glenn.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can take this to the grain of salt, you can take it to be a slap in the face, or you can take it to be constructive criticism. That's up to you, however you want to take it. What's the standard? We have to figure that out. Because if you're telling me the standard is what we have been doing for the last 2 or 3 years, and that's the standard you want me to apply, then we also have any grounds to complain. people and people have given you the opportunity to provide courses. How are those courses publicized? How are they represented by the coaching fraternity or the clubs in Antigua? That's my piece of advice.
Sure, go ahead, boss.
Yeah, Gary had asked if I was talking about the national team. No, I'm not, because you made it clear already the technical director is responsible for the youth and the young, right? And those are really all building blocks to the national team. Again, I think that the reason why I am so hard on the technical director aspect of this whole thing is because it starts with him. Right? It starts there. He has to be the one that puts everything in place. Everything. Okay? As to how we're going to move forward, what the U15s are going to do, what the U17s are going to do, which should be the same thing, by the way. What the U20s are going to do. Again, for example, do you know as a coach, like the coach of of any team, the first thing you have to know as a coach, first thing is what's your philosophy, how that works, what players are you looking for. See, we make the mistake of going and watching players and saying, this man is good, he should be in the national team. That man is good, he should be in the national team. He good, he should be in the national team. He good, he should be in the national team. And what you get is a collection of individuals who are all good, but who doesn't have any specific anything to what you as a coach need. If I'm playing a system, if I'm the technical director and say, listen guys, we want to play 3-5-2, whatever. My scouts have to go out and find me players that's going to play in 3-5-2 because we have a big pool to choose from. It looks like we just take the best players and we send them there, and we just take a right back and put it center back because he's big and tall and he should play center back and he's good at just athletic. But we have enough players in the pools to we have to know how we want to play before we go get the players. That has to be the basic. Is that the basic? Is that how it's going? Or we just take it, or he would, because that's the old national team. I remember back in the day when I played in the national team, we couldn't play for us in the national team, so maybe the league and score because here comes Gary, here comes Pretty One. And those two monsters up front was there before I got there. And so, of course, if you want.
His role, does he qualify for the job? Well, he qualified for the job on paper, but do you think he can handle the job?
But Gary answered it to an extent. Conrad said that he dodged the question technically.
Yeah.
But Conrad said he's not on the ground here, neither Glenn. What I can say, basically, being on the ground is that the question of the technical director role and responsibility, or lack of it, is only a symptom of the sad state of our football. And it's a lot more than that in terms of affecting our football. So I will give the gentleman, Bose and Glenn, an example, for instance. Nearly every Congress, and remember Congress is usually 2 times a year, and virtually nearly every Congress, actually the one before this one in January, we had to postpone it for a couple of days because we couldn't get a quorum. But nearly every Congress, it usually starts, if it usually starts 7, by 8:20, we can't get a quorum as yet. The executive have to be there on the phone calling representative of clubs to come so we can start, because you can't start without having a quorum. Also within the Congress, and remember this is held usually twice a year, usually about finance, presenting the financial, approving the budget and things like that, and some other issues. The persons that do come, if the clubs ask 2 questions, they're very annoyed, like the club shouldn't ask about members of the clubs. Our representatives of the club shouldn't ask about the club's business. So they fundamentally, instead of we try and fix the technical director aspect in terms of capability, roles and responsibilities, we have big problem because the structure of the clubs are lacking. And let me give you a little piece of that. The last 2 Premier Division champion has gone to the CONCACAF Club Championship. And I may be quoted maybe a little under or over. But far as I'm aware, they lost out on 10 to 15,000 US they would have gotten just because they do not have a youth program. So imagine the 2 top clubs in Antigua for the last 2 seasons, they have missed out on 10 to 15,000 US dollars just because they don't have a youth program. And when you look at the Premier Division, for instance, there is virtually, if there's club, I think maybe Pickett's, out of about 12 or 14, Garfield. Out of the 12 club in the Premier Division, you will be hard pressed to get 4 that has a youth or grassroots program. Gentlemen, we have a lot more fundamental problem going forward than basically the roles and responsibility, the technical direction. That director, that is a problem, yes, because even like the national coach, and Glenn said, what standard we're looking at, and then we can't complain. Well, Glenn, honestly, I believe there is no standard presently. I believe when the teams play, you go to a tournament, you lose, you come home, and you move on to the next tournament. That's what I've been seeing for years. It's like there's no hurt, there's no concern that you're losing and losing consistently. How do we, and as football, if you're in a team, you're not performing as a player. Look, I need to improve. What can I do? I need to do this, I need to do that. There is nothing in terms of, it's like, okay, that's the normal. You go to a tournament, you lose, and you move on to the next tournament. And I'm telling, I went and sit down and saw a team chain, and I'm not going to say which team, I'm not knocking nobody. But for instance, and they were practicing like mid-block with some youngsters. And I'm seeing that the team is mid-block. So, the principles are defense. You played zonal defense.
Hold on, I'm going to get you. Yeah, Casey, let us see how can you look better. Casey. Yeah, go ahead. Let's see if we can hear better. You should call. Yeah, you can hear you too. You can hear you. Okay, Casey, call me on my personal phone and I'll do something here so they can hear. Because we can hear. We still have our ears. So call me on my personal phone.
Yeah. So as I was saying, basically, oh, good.
Okay, get Casey. Okay, make Ivor, you finish first and then Gary answer Casey questions.
Okay, so what I was saying is that this team seemed to be practicing mid-block, zonal mid-block. But then there's a principle in defense and the version you never change. If you're defending, if there's pressure on the ball, you hold a position. But if there's no pressure, you have to jump. You can't stay mid if there's no pressure. And I'm sitting and seeing that no pressure, somebody running at the defense, don't go into the middle and running at the defense. And the defense holding the line. So if if the person is a good dribbler, get to the defense, it's a foot race. If they make a good penetrating pass, either through, as both say, or over, it's a foot race. No, mid-block don't mean mid-block. Mid-block mean this where you setting up your defense. And if the ball go back, you step. Go back, your opponent ball go back, pass back, you step. And if there's pressure on the ball, you hold your position. But if there's no pressure and that team is coming foul, you must drop. And I'm looking there saying, no, somebody crazy. Because all they have, the players are doing is just mid-block, just holding this line. And I'm saying, man, the football changed and I don't understand it at all. Which I know it has not changed. Basically, because we watch it every week. You hold the line, but if the attacker penetrates your midfield and is coming, the defense must drop. The team must drop. And then when there is pressure and you pressure that ball pass, but then you step.
True.
And that's basic defense. But I'm telling you, what I see being taught there, and I'm not saying I'm saying those poor kids. They in for running for half time away.
But let me ask a question before I get answer Casey question, Gary. Cause I was just thinking, Antigua football now when you guys just play, Gary, all y'all here. You also have culture, understand what kind of ball I play. But right now it's like a book that I set there and a culture and a set play. Something gone there.
I don't want to go on. I don't want to take up. I don't want.
What's the expectation?
Uh-huh.
I really don't want to take up Gary time and it. But let me tell you, I've been saying since a year that Asat Michael, God rest his soul, brought when Palm had 1 point first round and he brought 10 man here from Jamaica and the play. And I've been saying, and it has progressively gotten worse in terms of everybody now want bringing people. And let me tell you, in my days, it was really a good challenge for me. I look forward to it playing against Trini, and the players that they bring in. Because it's somebody outside of a high skill level I can test myself again. But let me tell you, too much it will spoil everything.
True.
Right? And I've been saying for nearly 20 years now, if you continue bringing in people wholesale, there will become a day where we don't have no superstar. Now, Antigua national team, the best player in Antigua, as far as I know now, is a guy they call Sean the Turville. I'm correct, Gary?
Correct.
Yes. Now, Sean the Turville's son, sorry. And this guy is virtually the best player in the league constantly for the last few years. But here's the thing, he struggles to make the national team as a starter, and if he does start, he struggles to play 90 minutes, and he usually don't have great game. Usually he's being criticized. How many players are in the league? Now the problem is when all of us were playing, every team had at least one superstar or two, one name player that listen. If you go against Villa today, you have to look out for Macedonia, you have to look out for Battle. You understand? Now, basically, there is nobody because we have not given enough young Antiguans the opportunity to play. You understand? Them guys say, boy, I get no play, I play no football. You understand? And basically, what has happened to us now is that we have a dearth of quality players in Antigua. Now, people is coming. I heard the other day somebody was saying, and Bata had told me that some time ago, in a conversation years ago, that, you cannot deny people from the other island to come here because of work permit and all kind of thing. I am not sure about that, because I tell you what, some of them people that they bring here, there's no work permit being paid. That's one. The next thing is, okay, instead from the CARICOM person that come, we have brought people from Central America, from even Brazil. We have brought plenty of people from these countries. No, they're not CARICOM. So come and tell me, I am saying, to me, if you want to have all the nations here, and you can get around that same CARICOM thing, because I'm saying, if you want to have a whole set of CARICOM people or overseas people, all the ABFA has to say is, listen, only 3 or 4 non-Antiguans can be don't even say that. Say at least 7 Antiguans must be on the field at all times. You understand? I am saying, bringing in, yes, it is successful. Some clubs, case in point, Grenades, but it is not helping our national program. And if we continue down that road, we will not be winning. A few years ago, I see now we start to champion some local players. But here the thing is now, the local players, they're on the field, I'm talking national level, like they're in the headlights. Because what? I saw a game when Puerto Rico beat us 5-0. And the poor defender, he's marking the man here, and by the time the ball got down our flank, it's just outside our 18, the ball go down our left side. By the time he look over and look for the ball, the man just get on across the ball. This man that he just have here now, he alone in front of the tapping and say, the poor fella, he don't know. Because the problem is they have not been exposed to the national level. And I was telling some time ago, I was telling Nando that, Nando, Nando Abraham, if me, you, and Batao was playing football today, we couldn't make Antigua side.
Why is that?
And Nando is, we couldn't make Antigua side. Listen, we had more tournament to develop at the level. Listen, the national level, and all of us can tell that, the national level is not Premier Division. It is way above Premier Division. You have the best players, are some of the best players from each country playing again. Now, we used to play Leeward Island tournament, and we used to play all the tournament. In other words, we serve an apprenticeship, so we learn the ropes. Now, we hardly play as much friendly. I don't know the reason, maybe so football be today. We don't have the Leeward Island tournament. So hence now, when you don't have the overseas men, players from England and so, you're throwing these youngsters in the deep end, and it is a rude awakening for them. The speed, the technical proficiency, the movement. I saw us against Grenada here. There are two guys that play in the MLS, and then they nearly massacre us. Basically, we just the passing and moving and the speed of play. And basically, our players are not exposed to that. So I am saying, although people is saying this, let me tell you, I have stopped what Premier Division from saying years being recreation. I am saying, listen, this is not, I support football 100%, but I am not going to support a sport that you have all outside, and the majority team have outside players there. Because here the thing, I'm sitting down here and listening. I have Gary on my left. Football give him his career. Football send this man to college. I have Glenn in front of me. Antigua football give him his opportunity and let him be where he is. I have Conrad Boaswhite there. Antigua football give him what he has. And I'm telling you, it is a lot more than any championship that they have won locally. Because what football has given these players, right? And I tell him, I hear Batao say, look, he got caught. And because the football judge said, Batao, he go with the youngster. And the judge say, Batao, you're sure, you stand up for this guy, you will take care of this guy. He said, the judge didn't even call him Gonzala, Right. So I myself see football has opened doors for me, even locally. Although I didn't get the opportunity. And I will always stick to that.
Well, sir. Gary, remember Casey, answer Casey's question.
I'll answer Casey's question, but let me share something with you along the same line like Ivor. Many years ago, on the Blackburn field in Villa,
Thank you, sir.
there was a young boy, no more than 10 years old. He was on the field by himself with a half deflated ball, kicking, juggling, shooting, practicing by himself. The great Empire footballer, Scout Christian, passed and saw him. What are you doing on the field by yourself? Practicing. Pouring, he could see, pouring his heart out into every touch. You know what that young man said to him? Because one day I want to play for the national team. That young boy was me. Because back then, you could see as a player a clear path to the national team. Because you see Ivor, you see Batao, you see the players before you representing your country. So it trickles down into the young ones of them that come afterwards. Nothing changed in Antigua. What has changed is international football. And when the big countries sneeze, we catch the cold. Brazil, Germany, all of them have a professional stage, so their countries now are exporting players. So the national team coach understands that when he has a tournament to prepare for, he can only get his players to 2 weeks. But his players are in a system where when they come to the national team, it is tactical things they're going to work on. That concept can't work in Antigua successfully as yet, because we don't have the players leaving from Antigua. Ivalu, Glenn, and Gary are not playing in Spain or England. And I dare add to that, the last person, the fans. I took my wife to a national team game the other day. And you know, it's only one person she could recognize, and she realized where he's from. It's her son that was sitting on the bench. She was telling me, where this player come from? I say, he's somebody from the US. Where this player come from? He from the England. But you know what is important? That is the system that FIFA and CONCACAF set up. You can come in as long as you have parentage. Nothing wrong with that. But it is the local footballing body who needs, as I said, to look at persons like me in the past who were practicing on All Saints Field, on Grace Farm Field, to have that clear part that I have the same opportunity like this other person who have Antiguan parentage. To go on to Carl Casey's question, sorry Carl, but the audio isn't clear enough. But from what I could glean from what you're saying, it is the technical director should have some kind of say into the national setup. When you think about how CONCACAF and FIFA disseminates their funding and how they monitor these MAs, they're saying full participation is FIFA's mandate. So we want you to set up a technical department where your technical director is dealing with the long term, from youth, grassroots, to right up to youth. Don't give him no more responsibility. If you want to enter a tournament and you want to hire somebody from Timbuktu for coach a national team, that is good. Now, if that person has a grain of salt or knowledge, he will go and have a word with the technical director. Who do we have coming through? Now, the other day I was talking to a general secretary from Jamaica, and he said, you know what? There are ways you can get around that. If your MA set up a program where your national team average age is 24 for the next 2 years because you're building something, days where you can tell your technical director, you have to have some responsibility for the national team too. So you know what he does? He's grooming, not by himself, with his team, up to 23. So days where you can see him, the under 23 coach is there, and he's on the bench because he knows he's directly involved in making this program successful. When that is done, he can say, you know what? Those players that are 23, those players that are 20 for the next 5 years, I'm going to have them. So you know what, MA, bring in and coach. Let me go back now and start to build down here. Case, you also said there must be an assessment. We all work for different organizations, whether business or home. At the end of any year, every year, when you have to do an assessment, whether you get an increment so you can get money, you have to sit down with your supervisor and manager. Tell me about your performance. And if you perform well, you get an incentive. If you don't, you're put on a period of assessment where you could be, if you don't pull up your socks, fired. That is what we need. It's not Sobe, it's every coach. If the coach that went away in this last on the 17th tournament come back from management right down to the coach, must bring back a report. That report is assessed because there could be factors affecting the performance of the team that has nothing at all to do with the coach. But the coach must be assessed. The players too must be assessed. So as both rightly said, what committee is in charge of that? It must be independent. It can't be a friend. It must be somebody who can critically tell you you're not up to standard. And the last thing, Glenn, you, boss, Ivor and Gary, I don't need FIFA, I don't need CONCACAF to come and tell me what standard I have of Antigua football, because we've lived it. My standard is very high. Your standard is high because we've been there. When Jamaica qualified for the World Cup in '98, and they played against this is a team from Antigua in the CONCACAF championship, and they beat us 1-0. Who was the defense? Who was the midfielder? Who was the striker? All local players. So that's what I'm saying. We have the talent. I believe in Antigua, every young player has the talent. But if that talent is not supported and nurtured, we are not going to see the full potential of these players.
Let me jump in here for a shot. Let me answer, boss, let me answer some, Gary. Conrad.
Boss.
But not here.
Boss.
Pretty boy can't coach one side of recreation go on a national team. Right? And when Pretty Boy reach inside the recreation ground, there's a new coach there, German man, along with a local coach. In other words, Pretty Boy was not even told, the disrespect to the guy was not even told that his services were no longer needed. Right? That is the Pretty Boy thing. And people, some that, yes man, they like, and anybody that have a different views in this country against and like and all them kind of things. That's what I have to say on the Pretty Boy thing. Now, you talk about people fitting into your system. Our players fitting into your system. Over the years, Antigua national team have brought one plane, no, boat hole more, maybe one boat load of people from England. And kind of different than Ledgerwood, I think, couple players, maybe about a handful of players. The rest players, and that's the thing that hurt me, substandard, they're not worth a ticket from England, 8 hours from England to Antigua, and most of them we put up. They're not worth it. We bought a team, two defenders here against a game against Barbados. Technically, the two guys and central defense, proficient, they know the game, move well, communicate well. The two man slow like a road. In the same game, Barbados knock over one long going up the hill in Vivital Stadium. The attacker gone, they can't even start to catch up goal, we lose. And I'm saying, just like you talk about people fitting into your system, these guys, as far as I know, somebody say, hey, one man to play this lead for Antigua. It's not even Premier League. And I always tell them, look, if the man now play Premier League or lead above that, I don't see we need to bring them. But we have a lot of people that bring. That reminds me of a case like Micah, bring one Jamaican here one time. And well, he didn't. Sorry, Empire did. And when this guy warm up, he was a goalkeeper, and we were saying, look, this guy here like on kill up. This guy warm up intense. And half time, the Dominican guy that does standing keep for Empire. Half time, they go in the dressing room, and he come out as the keeper, and nobody see this guy again. And when I saw Micah after, Micah said, boy, I never see the man now. The man come in the Friday when they practice the Saturday, Sunday the game. But a lot of the Englishmen that we are bringing here, they are substandard. That's the thing that hurt me. Somebody just go and say, this man will play there, and then somebody open communication with them, and they agree to come, and we bring them. There is no assessment of the player's ability. And if his ability can benefit our Antigua in terms of what we have, the players we have, and our style of play. And we have brought many, and it's just a waste of resources, in my opinion, over all the years, that could be put to better use. That's my opinion.
I want to jump in. Hey, boss.
Let me hear, boss.
I want to jump in a little bit. earlier too, and have me laughing because I say, yeah, you have a count to your boss, and that boy Earl cause have a problem today with you because Earl want to get you on the show so much. I'm gonna tell you, Earl, oh, man, and we not might be ready with the audio, and he jumped the gun and get this program this week. he jumped the gun.
Hey, 1 second there. Hey, call again, caller. Yes, Casey, you sound clear there. Where we do sound clear again? Casey.
Hey, we can hear Casey.
The Jews sent priests
So who assess the coach?
Who asked this question?
I don't know if anyone, I don't know if that's
Yes, Glenn, you know, send a message in the chat, Casey, because Glenn also can't hear you, so we can make everybody answer you offline.
Who assess the coaches?
Who assesses the coaches? I will hear that part. Who assesses the coaches? Yeah, me.
I don't know.
every coach, and I'm telling you this because of the fact Sobi is around me, and just like you guys, I have access to him, so I ask him these questions. Some person in the ABFA have access to them, so I try and ask them. Every coach that comes back from a youth tournament must present a report, and there is a technical committee that assesses them. 4 years ago, it was, I think it was Bato, Sobi, Daryl, and a few other coaches that was on the technical committee. Now I know it is the technical director who hires and appoints these coaches, would meet with them and sit down and assess the performance in the tournament. That's my understanding.
So who assess the technical director?
Get ahead, Glenn.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Get ahead, Glenn.
Aye.
But few things here. Sobi has been the technical director for 4 years or so. Right? Who assessed Sobi? One. Okay? What's the standard? What's the guideline? They want to see if there's any action plan for Sobi as to what is it he is expected to do and the result and long term, short term, whatever situation. Coaches development. In the coaches development area, Sobi, the people that is hired, player development, all those things. We need to figure out those things. So if Sobi is the technical director, short term, what is the long term plan? What is his coaching development? What is the player development that he has designed or has ready to implement for them for their growth and development over 1 day, 2 days, 3 years, whatever situation. Those things need to be addressed, those things need to be answered. Not today, not sorry, not tomorrow. Do that. Move forward. From the coaches level or the club level here, we'll go back to what Nick was talking about. Who or what guidelines? Oh, for coaches, athletes, league level. What qualification, what should they have for us to know? And the development process. What is going on with them? What do they have? What they don't have? So, what is the standard set forth by the FA, its coaches within these clubs? Minji said something that was crap on times. Tell me, $10,000 because they don't have the youth development program, and both teams come back. Team assessment 2, epic. Done. Nothing was done from a local level within those clubs.
Again, Ninja, you want?
Give you
Oh.
assessment and information. What's the Old Testament lesson when you talk about when you sow seed, rocky ground, what do you expect to get?
You going out?
But we will have discussions. And I pride myself. I like to go to the source. I have had conversation with Raheem. And because I played with his father, I told him one day, hey, at the national team training, I want to see you entertain. Because I felt that's the way I had to get to him. Because you know what he said to me? He does
One
not
second caller.
he does not feel free when he plays with the national team because he plays wing. Right? He plays the number 7 or the number 11. So in the national team setup, they limited him to those positions. When he plays for his local club, when he was definitely the best player in Antigua, when he was playing for Old Road, this man go anyway and affect the play. That is where I fall in love with him. Because you know what? That is the position that I used to play. Hey, Empire shut it down that way. You have the freedom because everybody else will back you up, go somewhere and affect the play. Now I said to him, you're in a very peculiar position. You know why? Because that coach who is coming in, he has not seen half of your games for Old Road because they don't have no film, right? The local coaches that are assisting that international coach, they're probably more so there to learn rather than to tell this coach, you know what? Give Raheem his freedom. I cannot say, huh? Sure.
Here's the thing. When you're a good player or great player, player that you say you are a soccer player, you're a footballer. You're not a winger, you're not an attacking mid, you're not a striker, you're a footballer. The national team is not your club. The coach is there to do a job. And within his system, you cannot be running all over the place. Maybe you can do that at the club team. Because, and we run into this problem recruiting. Here, and let me give you an example. I'm so happy you said that. I go, I watch a player, I like him, I'm going to bring him to my college. He's the best player in his club team, so he was asked to do everything. But when you step up to the next level, which is my level, or the national team level, you're not asked to do everything. You're asked to be a part of something. Because guess what? When you have a national team, you have the best of the best. So you cannot come to a national team and expect to run around like how you run forward after half.
No.
Because you're playing alongside good players. That is why I always tell my players at the little club level, right? Make the right pass, even though you know you're not going to get the ball back. Because when you're playing with people with equal ability that you have, the ball will come back. So you don't go and do the wrong thing because you're playing with people that are not as good as you, because you will eventually play with those people. And when you play with those people and you cannot play that way, you will find yourself on the bench.
Both. We have to debate this. I'm not saying that he's the one. No, I'm telling you, the decision that you make, you do not limit yourself to this position, because as a recruit, I am picking you in my team to affect the play, and yes, not affect the play. So we are on the same page, but I just have to clarify myself.
Somebody in line. Wait, one second, boss. Somebody in line there. Get a caller. I'll see. Yeah, you still there? Get a caller. Yeah, Casey. Casey. Which one? Casey? Okay. You can hear. Okay. Casey, you go in and out. But again, I just say want to say something on this level.
Yeah, kind of begs to differ with Gary said, why it's that more success in the national. Yeah, you hear me?
Through some area.
Oh no. Yeah, what I'm saying, Will is a pretty good technical player. He plays some like his father, and the flanks, but he's balanced like his father. The problem I think he has is that it's the poor quality of the players around. Okay, basically there's nobody with high IQ and technique in the midfield to manage the middle. I'm talking about the central middle. There's not enough movement to create space for him, to create that space that he can exploit with his ability. So the present national team that we have are the present players that we have in the national team. I think he's going to always be struggling. Why? Because every time he picks up the ball, there's no space created by runs. You know, Ganton does run off the ball just to create space for somebody else. Gantoners have that kind of ability. Well, the players, the last tournament, and we watched 2 games. I think we played 2 games, the last friendly, Gary. And let me tell you, we were like, our team were like stone and our feet were in concrete. We were moving in loose sand. There's just not movement. Somebody give this ball and stand up there. Man, football, I don't know if football ever does play so unless of the days of Pele when 5 man, 5 striker, basically. Our team is not moving, sharp movement, then come back for it, you know, what you want the defender, when the defender following, and he put his balance this way, then you break and come back for him to create space. The guy is a pretty good player, but in terms of our team, our technical ability and our technique, that is what is lacking, and he will always struggle in this present national team.
Before I answer, before I answer, let me just say good morning to the goalkeeper coach that was recently in some Taddy Pan and Bone. You have Zaza Waki online, you have Lenny Kwashi online, you have Chris Steve online from down west. Zaza saying that, let me read just a question, Chris, before you answer there. Zaza saying here that we need to nurture our style of playing and stop playing like all the territories. That was Zaza saying. Anti-Ghana style play. Well, that's anti-Ghana style play according to Ninja. So that answers your question. And Chris Steven from Down West is saying that we're picking players to play one position, and then when the time comes now, we put them to different positions to play, and that's maybe a problem also. So those 2 guys from Down West saying that. And both you from Down West saying no, Chris Steven and Zaza.
Necessarily.
was you and your boss fight. But when you come out in public, you don't know the type of scrutiny that, and trust me, I will tell you, but, and that is, and that is what I'm saying now. Technically, what you don't know, so big contracts ends in May. Sobe should be in a job until the person who hires him fire him. You and I did not hire Sobe. Yeah, you agree? You and I didn't hire Sobe. That Sobe should be fired? Boss, you're telling me now to answer a question. I can't go down on the road and say, hey, you know what happened? I can't say. No. Let me answer. Glenn, have your team won the championship? Huh? No, because what I'm saying, I have listened to this guy basketballer, and he was answering a reporter. The reporter asked him, why are you disappointed? Why are you haven't won anything? He said, so if you didn't win something, that means that there was no progress? Because I will tell you, I don't want to seem like I'm defending Sobe because you have your opinion. On the Sobe's tenure.
Hello? Carla?
Yes.
Yeah, talk. Yeah. Wait the boss. Yeah, so Casey wants something. Yeah, Casey.
Oh, Glenn.
Glenn, one second, Glenn. Casey wants to say something. Yeah, Casey. The national coach, he say coach the same guy in terrorism when he didn't start. That's why I job out than me.
and that is what I was saying, Carl. we have to have a connect with an international coach coming in and having two assistants that are local coaches, and you not having the best player in your league, because it goes back to what I was saying. The international coach in the past that I know of, Ledgerwood, came with 8 or 9 English-based players. He's feeling comfortable with his players. Now, the problem also stems from, as an association, and you have paid money for 8 players, you're bringing them to sit on the bench? So I agree, the assessments must be done before you select your team. The coaches on the ground and the coaches overseas, they must have a plan of what they want to go into this tournament. And if we have the resources here, and you have the resources that can back them up, then in a way you bring them in. Now, Glenn, I want to touch base because we're talking about coaches now. CONCACAF and FIFA has mandated that by 2027, all MAs must sign on to a coaching convention in CONCACAF. So Glenn, who has his CONCACAF B license, can come and coach in Antigua. And Gary and Ivalook, who have their CONCACAF B license, can go and coach in America, Mexico, and anywhere. We must sign on to that. Now, CONCACAF is not saying they're leaving up to the MAs, the member association. They have put the criteria. So when they say, Antigua, I want you to get Sobi, who's the coach instructor, Gary, who's the coach instructor, Daryl, who's the coach instructor, Lenny, who's the coach instructor. We're sending Antoine Cornel with you to oversee this coaching course. And we want 30 participants. And if out of those 30, you can produce 10 out of those 30 to be then C license, then you have to look at what you're doing so we can educate you some more. So there are things in place that we don't have to invent the wheel. It is being put in place by our parent body. And guess what? One thing that we have not failed to address, when you deal with programs, there is 2 sides as a business person that you have to deal with: your income and your expense. If you as an association is given $1 million and you have to now fit all your programs into this, you have to make some hard decision. You know what? Maybe the under 13 or the under 15 for this youth tournament, I have to skip that. I'm going to write to FIFA and tell them, you know what? I am into the development stage, so why should I spend $50,000 only on airfare to send a bunch of young people when they're unprepared? Give me some more funding so I can have a development program so that I can choose which tournament I participate in. Because really and truly now, even these tournaments that FIFA and CONCACAF have, they are tournaments mostly for winning. It is the groundwork that we do in the country that determines where our football is going to go. Whenever Glenn or Bo start the football year, the first thing they have to present to their technical department is your budget. That is where I say a lot of coaches, administrators fall down. Give me some players. Make a practice their villa, female village, Great Sam. No. And so you worked hard. So when now you come to me and say, Ivor Loco is a good player, can't get to town to practice, where the fund is going to come from? So Glenn and Boss, I agree with you guys. It's a holistic approach, because we can say Sobi is not doing a good job. But if you, Ivor, Earl, Taddy, call Sobi into a meeting now and tell us your constraint that preventing you to perform to a standard, you know, we might throw the blame on somebody else. Because if we don't fix the foundation, no matter who we put there, we could call Mourinho, anybody. And if we don't have it correctly so they can perform, we are setting up for failure.
Boss and Glenn, boss and Glenn, here, guys say, so we job should stay because he have
Let me jump in. I, boss, as they will tell you, you and I are very knowledgeable. And sometimes when you go and watch a football training session, you should not ever say that coach is just stupidness, because the technical director of Trinidad said one time he went to a session and saw a setup, and he said, Tal, I'm going to have to do something with that. And he said, you know the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to call in the coach and talk to him. When the coach finished explaining to him the purpose of this session, he said, go and document this session, because this session is something that I can put in our archives, because it was a particular situation coming from the next game that they had, and they watched the film, and they said, hey, we have to counteract this. So he set up the scenario that they would be able to counteract. Now, boss, I was watching the game against Guatemala and Antigua. If you remember, when did Guatemala score? In second half, after we would have gotten 2 chances. Now, I'll tell you something more. Villa is coached by that coach. Bobla is also the assistant. Rackley is also the equipment manager. Those 3 guys I have sat with and I've told Pinup, not today or tomorrow, come and explain to me, just for my edification, because at Villa, our concept is we are going with youths. And we have 3 players in that youth setup. No, 4. 4 players. The goalkeeper, a defender, and 2 midfielders. So I need to know now that, hey, you're coming from that tournament. We have a game tomorrow. Boss, listen to me carefully. Villa have a game tomorrow in the Premier Division. We had 4 guys on the under 17. How much do you think will start tomorrow? Huh? Oh, boss. So that is where I said, personally for me, I have taken on Jarvis, Pinup Jarvis, because as a coaching instructor, I said to him about 4 years ago, hey, I want a personal project with you. Come on, Coach Villa. We have not come higher than 3rd. But when you look at what Ivy is saying, 3rd with players that are 15, 18, 20, and they're causing a storm, because I would be hypocritical to say that I want local players to develop and not give them a chance. 17 is the age that you have to look for these players. So going back to what I'm saying in terms of assessing a coach, there are many factors that can affect him. Sometimes these guys travel, and both, this is on the softer side. When you and me used to travel, and Ivor Lucas to travel, and I was a boss on this, when it comes time to eat, me first reach down there. Can me have the most food? Because we're coming from an environment that, hey, we are not learned to control our diet. Glenn and you know, when you travel with a football team, when your team, you are determining what they eat. Because now, what you eat determines how you feel about energy. You can't tell a young guy that, hey, you know what? You can't full of a pit like that. So that has to be managed. Those aspects, you can't take nothing to your room. So I'm saying the job is big. I hear you and I understand. But so be, pin up can't be everywhere. So it is a total team effort. So guys, At what? Say that again. But when is he going to come?
I think he's trying to say level was too high for him.
No. How did I get to the level?
So when these things are happening in real time, the technical director can say, hey,
Should go me.
He might say, hey, you get up off the bench, you walk out to the technical spot, and he starts to direct traffic.
Hey.
Joystick it if you have to for a little while. So if you know that I have not attacked, at all, because I personally think that that level is not where he is right now. He's still inexperienced. He might be doing it for years,
But he have Bobula and he have Rackley, who are two coaches that in our Premier Division. So are we saying that we need to go outside for person? No.
he has to be the one, right, that guides this ship. Hence all the questions. I have watched tournaments in the past where Anthony gets there and the technical director is in the down stand. What the hell is he doing? What is he doing in the stand? I'm messing on the go.
Opportunities to send coaches overseas. Maybe a dialogue with you and see if we can get a coach that you can link with one new coach and see how it's done in a more first world or second. I'm talking football world, country. Because what we're doing here is like we are in a desert, we're in isolation. Hmm.
Micah has been here with me, right? To see how I do pre-season, go through the entire pre-season with the workload and the periodization and all that stuff. Cheyenne has been here as well. Cheyenne, he hasn't been back in a while, but Cheyenne's been back. I've offered, I've sent invitations to other coaches to come. Just come and see how I go around pre-season. Pre-season is 2 weeks long for.
Gary, send a pin up.
the General Secretary, and the ABFA executive. The coaches are presented to them. Sobi is the one that would have to sit with these coaches and ask them, are they available? Because both rightly said something. Coaching in Antigua is part-time. So when you have a person working from 8 to 4, what time is he going to get to train? It has to be after 4. So then now the ABFA must put things in place to facilitate the movement of these children to a place and a time that can fit into this coach's program. So what I know is that a lot of these coaches also, they have local teams. Now, you have to be very careful, because I tell Pinup, if you're going to take on the 17s and then you're going to still coach my Premier Division team, tell me how you're going to manage it. You know, Pinup said to me, as a person who is really and truly his boss, the national team trains from 4 to 6. Can I ask Villa to start training at 7? Now, if I want to schedule training at 6 o'clock to get my players back home that have young players too, then I have to compromise, because it will be detrimental of me to say that I'm a part of this whole footballing family and not try to find a compromise. It's not one or the other. It is a national team. You have been called as a coach, selected by the association. I cannot now hamper you from preparing yourself in the Premier Division. So I strongly believe that it must be a total effort by everybody. Now, I just want to touch on one last thing, Gwen. Both mentioned Pretty Boy. Now, I cannot believe that any team in Antigua that have problem with scoring goals, if Pretty Boy is not part of the national setup, he should have more work than that he is in the national setup. Because I can call Pretty Boy, come by me this week, I want you to deal with my strikers. Then the next week, another team call him. So are we, as a coaching fraternity, offering our services where we don't have to be employed by the ABFA? Because these clubs would say, you know what, Pretty Boy, come by me for the next week. I'll provide a traveling stipend for you. At the end of the day, really and truly, Pretty Boy can be a consultant making more money than rather being under the ambit of the ABFA, because you have the expertise that you have that other players want. A striker like a defender like Ivor Luke, hey, you know you're with the academy, but I want you to sit with me next week to run 2 sessions. After a while, hey boy, Ivor Luke, come by me and run 2 sessions. I appreciate that. Hey, give me Ivor number. So Ivor now becomes a private contractor, understanding what the clubs of them need. And guess what? Sobi now would say, Ivor, I see you working with that team. Pretty Boy, I see you working with that team. You might sit with me to develop a program? Ivor and Pretty Boy will never say no. And I mean, that is how we have to find creative ways to use our resources, because we're all friends. Ivor and I played for Spliff and Villa, 2 rivals. But if I tell Ivor today, come and show Villa defenders a session, Ivor would never dare say no.
But let me ask you a question, though. Can I say something like, have the clubs or the association reach out to Ivor and Pretty Boy?
elevate the sport or move the sport in the forward in a positive direction. I must say at the same time, I am pleased to be in the company of these footballers, some who have gone through the sport, especially Boss and Glenn, and is making a living, has been educated through the sport, and me not tap stress that part, and is still making a living within the sport. Also Gary, who is still with the sport, still helping to develop and nurture the youths in the sports, and give them a positive way forward, and I know all of us know that this can help shape and mold our lives. So been a pleasure, gentlemen, and keep on doing what you're doing. And Conrad and Glenn, don't give up on us, and any way that you can offer any assistance, please feel free to do so. Offer again,
I have a shot to throw or a bounce at the ball against Earl.
This is the president's speech.
No. And my cousin, who I every summer used to go by him, the great Curly Ambrose, when he bowls, you can't know where it's coming from. I used to travel with Glenn to Freeman Village and pick date with Parker. I used to be in Grace Arm by Sudi White. You know who is Sudi White? Glenn? Okay. And Boss White, his auntie, up on that hill where we have the journey. Grey Hill, I know. And I have been with all of the players, all of the now persons who can be influential in running Antigua football. So when, as Earl said, when I come knocking at your door in a different capacity, I know I'll get support. Thank you, guys. I will.
Look at this. Two things I want to touch on, Two things. My good friend Ivor, he said something earlier about bringing the coaches and outside players and not giving the opportunity for the young guys. And it touched me a little bit. Because I heard this week on the radio, come by school, win some game, and coaches celebrate that they have some foreign players playing for them. Then I tell myself, real jokers. Because if three young guys get a chance to play for combined schools who maybe have an opportunity to be able to go to England and so. Combined school is about development of the young guys. And the coaches these days are very lazy. You know if we have to lose, you're going to lose players because they leave in school. So it's not guys 12, 13, 14 training them for 3 years, 2 years, get them primary school, start work with them. So then they get to secondary school and what's the standard. So it's not about winning. Like coaches think winning everything these days. I don't understand the nonsense. Like I'll tell them in my time, winning to be getting to play West Indies team. That's what they call win. That's a win-win. Leave Island's team and so on. This jokey winning bull story about school win some game. To me. And then my good friend Ivor cussed me up 2 weeks ago. Somebody invited him to my birthday party, but we'll leave that alone. Because Earl is one who didn't invite him. You know what I mean? Earl didn't invite him, Because when Glenn had a surprise birthday party for me, they didn't want him to know, but it jumped out. But getting back to that guy, Boss. Boss, you were the one that caused about his problem today. Earl called me, he had his big show. I wanted to invite Boss and say, Earl, the other gives some trouble. Today we get a piece that can make it out. Came from overseas, I was told. But Earl wanted to push yourself so bad because you wanted to get Glenn and So say, okay, if Mark tell you, okay, we can go. Oh, sorry, but I leave it alone. Your boss may leave it alone.
Yeah.
But no, but strangely enough, though, a while ago when the guy from our partner, man,
Georgie Boy.
you can hear him clearly and you can hear Carl Casey and all, and you can hear him clearly. So I don't know what's going on with the audio. But hopefully next week, because the equipment is here now. The equipment is here now. Should we have everything going smoothly from next week, I hope. Well, and hey, look, good to see Glenn. I'm a discussing part of boss. I heard boss anyway this week. Let's observer. He costed everybody.
Well, Zaza best because Zaza, he couldn't hear them properly on the Zoom.
You know, he couldn't hear me in Zoom.
But I must say, guys, it's an excellent show. A lot of people was on the live talking and watching. A lot of them couldn't hear. So I want to apologize to the audience, viewing audience, that the audio was a bit challenging today. We do apologize. And as Taddy said, hopefully next week it should be a lot better. And Ninja was digging me on my side to tell me that we need to get the audio fixed. So yeah, we are getting a lot of blows. So next week, guys, definitely we work on the audio. But guys, it's a really good show. And I appreciate the time, guys. And Gary, all the